My name is Adam Andrzejewski, and thank you so much for attending our press conference today, and thank you to everybody who tuned in on the live stream as well. Here's my vision for Illinois. That Illinois has a new reputation of integrity and transparency and opportunity where all citizens can flourish. And if you think about it, that's the simple definition of the American dream. And my family for generations here in Illinois has lived that dream. It's the pioneer story of getting in the covered wagon, coming across the prairie in the 1840s, establishing the family farm outside of Sugar Grove, and still 8 generations, it's still in our family's name. It's the immigrant story of my father's family, my Polish grandfather and grandmother, who settled in the Polish area of Evanston and successfully raised 5 children with a strong work ethic. It is my story of my brother and I in the 1990s establishing a company from our small town of Herscher. It's the quintessential American story, the story of capitalism and entrepreneurism, where we started a company and became wealthy. But the American dream in Illinois is dying. My story of going from Herscher to Hinsdale in 15 years is becoming unique and rare. Because corruption and government greed is forestalling production. Just ask the FBI arresting agents of our governors Ryan and Blagojevich. Ask the Securities and Exchange Commission, who just charged Illinois with securities fraud on our bond sales. Ask the children in southern Cook County, in the communities of Dixmoor and Harvey, and their grade school is ranked 35th from the bottom out of 800 grade schools, while their superintendent last year made over $300,000 of total compensations. And just ask the children and the students that attend the junior college in Cicero, Illinois, at Moraine Valley. Last year, the president of Moraine Valley out-earned the chancellor at the U of I, and he made $674,000. Corruption and government greed is fast becoming our legacy, and we must stop it. This comes with obligation and responsibility to be a witness to history. And it's why I started For the Good of Illinois in 2007, and it's why I ran for governor of Illinois in 2010. As a governor candidate, I made promises, and I took those promises very seriously. This team, we've got a tremendous track record of success, and our job is not finished. One of the robust pieces of public policy that I ran on and that we performed on was my promise to put every dime online in real time. Aggressive, robust financial transparency of all public government spending. And we did it. A year and a half ago, on our website at openthebooks.com, we posted the pay and pensions of virtually every single public employee at every level of Illinois government, many with 10-year salary histories. But our philosophy is every dime. So then we came back and we posted over 1,000 units of government with their vendor spending, with their checkbook spending, every single school district, every single college and university, and 10 years of line-by-line checkbook spending from the city of Chicago. I am proud to execute on my promise to put every dime online in real time, and our work is not finished. Our team, together, we have spearheaded robust public policy, like the forensic audit. Illinois needs an adversarial forensic audit to root out the corrupt practices and end those practices. Just ask the taxpayers in the tiny town of Dixon. After 21 rubber stamp audits, their city treasurer stole $53 million. I'm holding polling where 87% of the Republicans say go after it, audit, and 72% of Democrats concur. This is fast becoming a settled issue amongst the people in Illinois. Together we've spearheaded other robust policies, like on property taxes. Freeze property taxes and cap them. We understand that mortgage payments here in Cook County, many of them are smaller than the monthly property tax payment. Many people feel that they're renting their commercial property or their residential property from local units of government in our schools. We're the 3rd highest out of the 50 states in property taxes. We're number 1 in the country in our foreclosure rate. People need a break from the local spending machine. Freeze and cap property taxes. Here are two projects that just recently we've unveiled that have state and national importance. First, the project that has state importance. In the first week of January, we filed a lawsuit to start the process of forcing open the line-by-line spending of the state of Illinois. And only in Illinois did we have to sue the top Republican name, who also happens to be the top financial officer, State Comptroller Judy Bartopinka. And only in Illinois is the state's top Democratic name, Lisa Madigan, the state attorney general, the top law enforcement officer, who prides herself on her reputation of transparency. Both of those people are going into a court of law to make arguments to a judge that 3 days' worth of work is an undue burden for government to show taxpayers where they spent our money. Here's what they need to hear. They levied a tax and we paid it. And they spent it, and people deserve to see exactly where it was spent. Open the books. Here's the project of national importance. And I just spent the last 2 weeks in our nation's capital. The great debate in Washington, D.C. is where to cut spending. And I'll make the argument to you that you cannot cut what you cannot see. And our team at OpenTheBooks.com, for the first time, has aggregated all public United States government spending. The checkbook, 2.5 million employee salaries, and farm subsidies for the past 4 years. And we've put it up on our website at OpenTheBooks.com. And then we pushed it to the first-to-market mobile application for your smartphone. So for the first time on a hyper-local basis, you can see the massive money flows flowing out of Washington, D.C. into your backyard, into your zip code, or any zip code across the country. This is substantial work. It's a great track record of success. I am proud of our teams. I am proud of our work. And I've had a wonderful family stand behind me. My wife, Carrie, and I have been married for 13 years. We've got 3 little girls. Ellie, who's 8, Molly, who's 6, and Emma Kate, who's 4. And my wife and I have determined that these little girls need a coach and a father. And so I have made a decision. I will not be a candidate for any office in 2014. And I'm excited and I am motivated by this decision. Now, I've seen some of the long faces and some of the disappointment. Don't be disappointed. Think about it. You and I, we have not done this work and done these accomplishments to run for office or for any single elective season. You and I, we have done this work for the good of Illinois. We have done this work for the good of the future of Illinois. Thank you very much for your support. We have a lot of work ahead of us, and I'm open for your questions.
Well, Adam, if you're not going to run, who is? I mean, the Republican Party doesn't have a huge bench of people, and you were looking at an office like treasurer. Who do you think is out there?
Well, first of all, I think in 2010 when I ran for governor of Illinois, I was first out of the blocks, so I felt it was important to make this decision early for exactly your point. So now I have taken myself out of a run for elective office, and that opens up the opportunity for fresh blood and new faces to step forward, and this party needs fresh faces and new blood.
Well, what about your ideological position on the issues? I mean, will they be represented in the 2014 primary for governor?
This is a tremendous platform, one of transparency and opportunity and integrity.
Who can carry the fight if you're not?
Well, for instance, at For the Good of Illinois PAC on the election season, I've helped punch in 5 fresh faces into the General Assembly. Any of those men and women can help carry that flag.
And you were thinking about treasurer, were you, Adam, or were you thinking about governor again?
The decision process, about 6 weeks ago, publicly I took myself out of the governor's race. And so then I was giving strong consideration to running down ballot, quite possibly for an open treasurer's position. So the decision came down to one of, do we turn our back on the substantial and significant public policy and transparency work that we are doing, or we're a national leader in this work, to run for elective office? And I made the decision to follow through and complete out the work on a public policy basis rather than running for office in politics.
So do you anticipate then looking for a particular candidate for governor and pushing him, or are you just going to let the field go as it is without your urging?
Well, as CEO of For the Good of Illinois, we're an advocacy organization, so I cannot endorse candidates for elective office.
But you've been a player yourself personally in influencing and king-making, and Kyle McCarter is one of your guys, and you've got some people in Springfield. You expect to continue to be active with that?
Well, in terms of For the Good of Illinois PAC, after the November election, I actually left the chairmanship of that. Obviously, I founded that political action committee. It has been very successful. Like I said, candidates we've backed, 5 fresh faces over the last 2 election cycles, while the party itself has slipped into the super minority and can't defend its incumbents. Our PAC has been successful at punching these people in. I have turned that over to allies, and I expect them to continue the track record of success without me involved in it.
Adam, have you taken a position on the fate of the party leader, state party chairman, Brady?
The purpose of the press conference today is to talk about our substantial body of work and my involvement in that mission going forward For the Good of Illinois. So I would like to keep the questions focused on our nonpartisan work. I've made this decision in part to go beyond partisan labels. I think it's important in Illinois to put forth the right solutions and not worry about the partisan labeling.
Are you then, along those lines, are you then reaching out toward other organizations in the country, that Freedom Works or Heritage Foundation or any of these groups to help you, work on those issues here in Illinois? Because I think it's a platform that can grow for other states.
Over the course of the last 2 weeks, I have met with nearly every single think tank, action tank, public policy group in Washington, D.C. of national importance. And we are putting together, hopefully, strategic national relationships to bring as much impact and to try to bring at least 10 million eyes to the federal government checkbook.
In your recent history, especially with the Judy Bartopinka lawsuit, she's a Republican, and you use as an example in that case how easy it was to obtain information from Rahm Emanuel. What kind of support is your organization receiving from organizations, that might be ideologically, different than you on a normal basis? Maybe a more left-leaning organization, you being a more right-leaning organization. Have you gotten support, in these endeavors?
I have been told on a national basis that progressive organizations, by nearly 2 to 1, advocate transparency. We will be reaching out on a nonpartisan basis to everybody.
On your website, is there any way that you link up the campaign contributions and the spending to combat crony capitalism, which I think is the biggest thing hurting Illinois?
We
doing favors for their buddies and their contributors. Is there any link that you were able to establish? any part of your website that links up these guys?
Right now we're in phase 1 of website development and display. On phase 2 and phase 3 we'll add some of these other things. I think it's a very important point. I just want to say something about our lawsuit to begin the process of forcing open the line-by-line spending in state government. Now that the Republican comptroller understands that I will not be primarying her, we'll see how fast she settles out for the data on the lawsuit.
Adam, to that point, William Kelly, as you know, I'm exploring a candidacy for Illinois comptroller. I was very much expecting you to announce for treasurer today, and I was looking forward to campaigning with you to to win in 2014 and open the books and expose the insider deals, etc. Considering you're not running for treasurer, what is your position on the idea of combining the two offices, comptroller and treasurer?
Well, my position on that is that it's a good idea. I think it would save the state of Illinois about $17 million. The existing comptroller and treasurer ran on this. They were popularly elected in the 2010 election on this concept, and it's Democrats in the state legislature that have not allowed this legislation to even be put on the ballot for a constitutional referendum with the people of Illinois in 2014. I think they should let that on the ballot and let the people decide. Any more questions? Great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for attending. I appreciate you. We have a lot of work to do. Thank you.